Our next speaker is Hiroki Sugita. Sugita-san is a columnist for the Kyodo news agency in Japan. I've known and interacted with him for many years, and he is an important commentator on world affairs. And today we've asked him to tell us a little bit about the situation in Japan as far as challenges facing the media are concerned. Over to you, Sugita-san.
Thank you very much, Shida-san, for actually organizing this wonderful event. And good morning and good evening, everybody. It is very nice to see you again, especially Ken. It's been a while since we met last time in Australia at the meeting of the IPI. Today, I'd like to describe about the Japanese media. Well, one phrase I think it's a proper to tell about the Japanese media is it's in a slow motion of the deterioration as the healthy and freedom in the terms of the freedom of the media. I would explain 3 points. First of all, as you know, it's same in your countries. That is the financial situation is very bad, and we are in a very difficult financial uh, situation. Of course, there's the newspaper, the circulation copy is plummeting so hard, and just for last 20 years, all of the number of the copies of the Japanese traditional media become half just for 20 years. So another 20 years, we will have another half. So maybe in a sometime, traditional news media will disappear for good. And also the TV audience is also declining because the young people, as same in your own country, that they're now no more watching the TV, and they are watching just the YouTube and other social media. And that is the first the problem, and we don't know how to solve it. We don't know how to get the good copyright deal from the Google or other social media big tech companies. And second question is maybe something unique in Japan, unique for Japan, because that is something which we are, especially I am facing every day, how to report about the national security issue, which we have not focused so much in the past. That is about how to report to China. As you know, that China has been expanded so much, and it is quite kind of the threat for Japanese standpoint. And this is of course, the affecting the direction of the media coverage. Uh, during I would say that since the end of the World War II, and especially after the end of the Cold War, we have been living in a very peaceful regional and international environment. So we have not faced this kind of problem of how to report the possible style country, which is now for Japan, it's China. And as you know, that the Japanese government has strengthened its defense budget and modernized its defense doctrine. And with the kind of trend of the Japanese policy, Japanese government policy, public opinion about the media, about China, is getting worse and worse. So those conditions, inevitably and naturally, I think, affect the course of the tone of the media coverage about Japan. Uh, we know that, especially journalists know that we have to make much more nuanced story, including many faces, many aspects of China, which is sometimes we see that's a threat. On the other hand, sometimes it is kind of a very friendly, and it is kind of the familiar face for Japanese. But most of the cases nowadays, it's about threat from the China, and especially after the release of the. I think you may know that Japan has now starting the release of the contaminated, or I would say the treated water from the Fukushima nuclear power plants, and that is a big issue in this region. And China strongly opposed that idea of the release of the water, but without without clear evidence from the scientific standpoint. So that's why that we have some kind of conclusion that China is acting against or opposing whatever Japan does as a tool of the bargaining tip for the further negotiation with Japan. So with that kind of attitude of China, Japanese public is so strongly opposed to China. And but and especially on the question of the security reporting, international national security reporting, the people who have the knowledge of what China is doing in militarily are people in Japan. Maybe in the Japan case, there are people in the Defense Department or Foreign Ministry or national security office of Japanese government, and they say this is a kind of secret information. That's why they don't disclose those information to Japan. I'm sorry, those information to media people like me. So our reporting is most of the cases is based on some kind of the not based on the fact or not based on the first-hand information of Chinese threat. So this is a very hard job for us. That we know that we have to put much more input from the various angle. But most of the cases, our report is very, one-sided, which is very nationalistic and sometimes chauvinistic, militaristic. So that is, I think that our report is not well qualified as in times of this kind of the very difficult situation with China. And another problem is that this is kind of recruiting for the future journalists from the college or universities in Japan. Most of those talented people, young people, don't choose the journalism as a vocation or as a profession. They like to go to the banking sector or consulting sector and trade companies saying that the job of journalism is very hard and that kind of job don't get enough money for them. So that's why they try to get another sectors. So that is the kind of the serious situation for Japanese media to generate the good and talented young journalists. But on the other hand, I think that those youngsters who are interested in the media started doing some kind of non-profitable journalism in Japan. They are actually operated, those young people, and financed by the crowdfunding organization. So they are not affected by the commercial companies which give us some advertisements for the traditional media, and they are much more challenging to the authorities which our traditional media have refrained from doing. So I think that this is kind of the positive sign of the Japanese journalism, and we see that we are in the middle of the transformational or transit, or sometimes changing the media culture from the traditional media to the new media, and that is something I would like to try to some hope from. So yeah, so I will stop here, and I'm looking for the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sugita-san, for focusing on the negative as well as the positive. I was particularly happy to hear about the emergence of public interest, non-profit journalism in Japan. because this is a trend around the world where in a break from what the big media is doing, and in a way, digital technology has enabled the rise of this kind of more agile, more nimble media. And I'm glad to hear that in Japan too, this new trend has emerged. Thank you very much, Sugita-san.